Let's take a look at the Catia user interface and how it's organized. Take a look at a slide, and the slide shows the 5 major areas of organization for the interface. There's menus across the top, what we call the create icons on the right, and the view and measure icons across the bottom. And of course, the geometry is right in the middle of the screen with something that we've labeled history here. Technically, that's the specification tree. And it's the, think of it as the journal of how you created this part. Now, like every program in Microsoft, there's often many, many ways to do the same thing. It can be a little frustrating when you're a beginner because it seems like there's, way too many ways to do the same thing. But you'll see that as you get better in Catia, it becomes a big advantage. Okay, so let's take a look at this now in the real world. We have the toolbar across the top, and this is where we do things like file new, file open, and file save. And look, file save, you can also do a Control S. That's a standard Microsoft key command there, Control S. And Control P for printing. Then also down here, there's some icons at the bottom for saving, printing, opening, and creating new Catia parts. Okay. Also, then they have a whole set of menus here where you can do many of the things that you can do over here with icons. You could do this way also. This set of icons on the right is really the core of Catia. This is where we actually create geometry. For instance, we could go to Sketcher here. We can sketch on this back plane. Let's sketch some kind of a little rectangle here. And let's make a little extrusion or pad out of that. Now we'll use some of these icons over here to maybe round over some of the surfaces of this. There we go, and we'll say OK. We might put a hole in using one of these icons. So all of these icons on the right are for actually creating the geometry. Great. Now the icons across the bottom of the screen aren't so much for creating geometry as they are for visualizing it and measuring it. So for instance, there's some measure icons here. You can measure between this face and this face, and it tells you. Or you can measure, say, a radius of that fillet. There's also a set of icons that allow you to pick predefined views of your part. Here's a left view, an isometric view, a set of icons that allow you to change how your part is visualized, whether it's in pure wireframe mode or all these different hidden line modes. There's an icon over here that allows you to make section cuts through your part to kind of visualize the internal part of this. Okay. Then there's even other icons here to do all kinds of things with your Catia part, but everything relates to visualizing the part. Now the specification tree over here, this follows the journal of how your part was made. In fact, if you wanted to change the size of this hole, you could double click the hole here and change the size of it, or you can go to the specification tree and double click the hole here, and then you could change the size of the hole. So that's the basic layout of the Catia user interface. Now, it can really get confusing because you can actually move these toolbars, and you can move some to the top. And you can, a lot of times students prefer to have some of these icons docked across the top. So now you've kind of changed your creating from being on the side to on the side and the top, but you get the idea.